How you doing?
Good, good, good. Go there. All right. First catch-up meeting in a while.
Yeah. And then I'm gone again next week. So
Right.
it feels like it's been a month since we spoke last time. Almost, right?
Uh, no, well, I think we had a couple of meetings. Don't remember what they were. Let me. Yeah, we were at the
Oh, those weird ones. The one with that apocalyptic kind of world with the giants.
yeah, that
Yeah.
was Poughkeepsie Library with Krista.
Yep.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago.
It feels like a month ago. I've been so stressed last week
Sure.
and even this week. I
Really.
don't know why I'm here. I had so much work to finish, but it's okay. Any distractions, and this is it.
Sure, sure. Well, let's see. All the ones that I've sent you, we can go over. The ones that we haven't talked about yet. I know I sent you this one.
Oh, I thought we're gonna go over. Wait a second. Is that the one with
Yeah.
the
It's
swamp?
entirely up to you. I just wondered if you had any, or did you read this at all?
No, I don't think I managed to get to that one.
No, this one. All right. Well, I know
Yeah,
it's
I'm sorry. Yeah, it was so busy. Like,
sure,
but I ended up indulging in other stuff because I the other one was faster read.
sure.
Solos are fast, but I think like with a swamp thing, like I did take a break and I didn't finish the full like the 400 and something pages. That one I didn't finish, but like I have enough exposure to it to talk about it because it was
Right.
such drastic change between like the written tone of it that it's so interesting, right? Like you gave me the hierarchy, like start with these and
Yeah.
end up with like so in the beginning it was I liked the first ones way better.
Okay.
Um it- just because of the tone, kind of like how they put you kind of like imagine yourself, like you looking into here, right? Like so it's almost like Twilight Zone. Is it? Or there was another show similar to Twilight Zone. I forgot the name of it. But it reminded me of kind of like that those shows where like you enter this weird world of something.
Yeah. Mhm. So I think, hold on. Let me do this. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Actually, I'm interested to know. Okay. Hello, Jason, if you're there. Welcome. All right, let's go back to this.
Hello.
Hello, Jason. Welcome.
Hello.
Just to quickly let you know, Jason, that you RSVP'd for tomorrow's uh, Ghost Sheriff of Last Gasp. I'm just letting you know that that meeting will not be happening. So don't bother to show up or look for the link because it's not going to be happening. Sorry about that. But then Friday after that, so that will be, yeah, May 1st, Friday. At the same time, we will be talking about the Ghost Sheriff of Last Gasp if you're interested. Just letting you know about that. Although it says Hellblazer, we'll talk about both in the same meeting. Okay, just letting you know about that. Okay, back to this. So I think this is the one you read, Albina.
Yeah.
This one. Okay. This is the first appearance of Swamp Thing,
Mhm.
created
It
by.
had a quite interesting opening, kind of like it, it had that feel of those old TV shows, kind of like weekend horror show, that it's more entertainment than it's supposed to scare you.
Mhm.
Maybe it had a couple of jump scares, like the way they kind of introduce in the language. I really liked it. Maybe
This,
some people don't, but like I liked it.
sure, sure. No, this was back during the time of, at the time, there were a lot of horror comics being published at the time.
Mm,
There was, well, starting in the 1950s, there was the EC Comics horror line, uh, Vault of Terror and the Crypt Keeper, House of
mm, mm.
Terror, and all of those.
The Crypt Keeper. Didn't they make that one into series?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, the Crypt Keeper was the character, EC.
Yeah. Yeah. But like in the series, they made him kind of like as the storyteller.
That's right. Tales from the Crypt. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yes.
Vault of Horror, Tales from the Crypt, with the Crypt Keeper. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, and then you had like Warren Publications doing Creepy magazine and Eerie magazine, and these were all uh, comics. A lot of them were in black and white comics that were, yeah, horror comics of the day, and a lot of it were taking from the popular shows and horror movies of the time, Twilight Zone, like you mentioned, and Outer Limits, and those types of things.
Oh yeah, the Outer Limits. That's the other one that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Like Twilight Zone was different, but Outer Limits it had that speaker, right? Like who would just like tell you, kind of introduce you and pull you into the story, and would say like, imagine you sitting at home and all of a sudden you hear a sound. Like
Right.
he would. His job was literally to pull you into the story, and that's what this reminded me of. Like they literally like in those like little blue lines, like or yellow lines, like little like
Yeah.
they're pulling you into the story. I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the style of the day. I think of these horror comics. They were all doing like that. A lot of it was adaptations of stories, that prose stories that were popular. There was well, there was a lot of H.P. Lovecraft adaptations and other lesser known horror writers doing short stories, some Ray Bradbury short stories. A lot of them were adaptations. And DC and Marvel, for that matter, both of them were doing horror comics of that time. So this was one of them. This was House of Secrets. It had gone for a while, actually. This is issue 92 when this story popped up. It was hosted by these two characters, Cain and
Yeah,
Abel here.
Cain and Abel. I
Yeah.
love the names. Very good.
Yeah, that's Cain, that's Abel. And yeah, that's exactly who they were. They were Cain and Abel. And they were the hosts for House of Secrets and House of Mystery.
Mm.
And so, yeah, a lot of these were written and drawn by whoever was available at the time. And this one popped up. This is Len Wein doing the writing and Bernie Wrightson doing the art. And I don't suppose we need to get too deeply into the history of it all, but back in the 1940s, there was an old character called the Heap who was he never got really popular, but he's kind of notorious. He was kind of known as the first swamp monster character in comics.
Mm.
And Len Wein certainly did read The Heap and was consciously mimicking uh, The Heap when he created Swamp Thing. And when Roy Thomas over at Marvel created Man Thing, he was definitely thinking of The Heap. So people think, well, Roy Thomas, when he created Man Thing, was copying Swamp Thing. No, they're all based on the Heap, all of them. The Heap was the original swamp monster character in comics. Anyway, so this is just the idea here is, yeah, as simple as that. It's a swamp
Yeah.
monster, Swamp Thing. Now, Bernie Wrightson is highly regarded as one of the greatest comics artists. He's just very well regarded for his skill and technical ability. Uh,
And actually, like reading through it, like it's the character is really well thought through, right? Like the even like the biology and the whole body setup.
yeah,
I'm kind of looking at the heap, right? It looks like, yeah, hanging moss, almost kind of like the abdominal what do you
oh
call
sure,
monster? Yeah, like but with this one, he really kind of introduced that kind of veins, like the roots being the veins, and having the tree sap, the like be the blood.
yeah,
And
that's right.
it's quite interesting. Like the whole facial features like are different from Heaps, but it's almost like his hands, like look at his arms, right? You can kind of like see the muscles.
Yeah,
And these first editions, you saw a little bit of moss hanging off, but then when you like the what was the bronze something, when that one came out, they did a kind of recap of this story, and then it started off like it apparently many years have passed,
that's
and
right.
when he walks out, now there's more moss. Like that kind of reminds me of Heap's body, where now moss has really grown on his body, and you can really see the bulging
Yeah,
muscles and everything.
that's right. No, I don't mean to suggest that I think they were trying to do a complete duplication of the heap. They were just taking the idea
No,
of monster character.
yeah, but I do see it, like the arms, the
Yeah,
grip, the stance, right?
yeah.
It's there.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Len Wein certainly was very well aware of what he was doing. He's doing a swamp monster character. Of course, he's going to draw from the heap, and so is Roy Thomas back when he created Man Thing. Yeah, they definitely had that in mind. Roy Thomas, for one, he certainly said in interviews that that's exactly what he had in mind. But yeah, but Bernie Wrightson certainly is very highly regarded as one of the greatest 20th century comics artists. Just his skill, his technical ability, his anatomy, his rendering. I think you can kind of get a good sense of his inventiveness, his creativity, his just yeah, the power and dynamics of his drawing. He
Yeah.
just he just gives you everything you want from a good moody horror story. Yeah, Bernie Wrightson certainly was. Yeah, had a high reputation as a great comics artist.
Yeah.
Len Wein was always a journeyman, meat and potatoes scripter. He was a long time editor at DC. So this was the introduction of Swamp Thing, and yeah, it's just one of those.
So wait. Before you pass this different introduction, right? Because like they introduced this story, but then when the whole book starts, right? Like the origins of the swamp monster, like or swamp thing, like it's completely different compared to
Yeah,
this short story in the beginning.
that's right.
And I found it very interesting that they kind of had this weird intro where they don't tell the full story to the end, but
That's
then
right.
they had the series, and then they close it with a recap of the story. It almost felt like it was like a pitch. They really liked it. They didn't want to lose it.
Yeah.
So they sandwiched the whole series like in between this, like a little gem, quite like a
Yeah.
little bit different because it was more kind of love oriented. And to be honest, I'm so glad that they didn't go into this direction where she stays alive and the whole entire thing, it was about jealousy instead of crazy science and people being greedy. I appreciate greediness over like another heartbreak of a monster.
Yeah. That's very close to what it was. Yeah. I mean, when Ween and Wrightson created this one comic story, that's all it was. It was just this one story. Nobody expected anything more from it. It was just one among hundreds or thousands of horror stories. And nobody thought it was going to go any further than this. And yeah, it turned out people liked it. It was popular. And so they kept it going.
You and I are talking a lot, you know, letting poor Jason jump in.
Uh,
Jason, any thoughts on this?
no, there's no pressure. No pressure.
No, I like the whole horror feature of it. Um, I'm actually surprised that DC, uh, aside from doing superheroes, they actually have a separate genre related to the creepy horror theme. And I think that's how they
Yeah.
started too, right? They started with the, I know Marvel did. Marvel, when they first started Timely magazine, they started off with these off scary horror theme, and then they eventually moved on to superhero because superhero was selling better. Yeah,
What?
Timely magazine,
What?
or the Tales of Suspense, right? Timely magazine created Tales of Suspense, introduced their superheroes, and then it was like a great seller, and then they started changing it to Marvel.
Um,
Yeah.
sort of. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
believe there was ever anything named Timely Magazine. I don't think that it was called.
Uh, yeah, the early beginnings were
Oh,
like
you're thinking of.
yeah, something like Marvel. The early beginning of Marvel was it
Yeah,
wasn't Marvel. It was something else. I know.
yes, I know what you're talking about, but that's a little garbled. But anyway, it gets into the history of Marvel and DC, which we don't have time for right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
It's
but
too much.
I'm good to see. Is that Swamp Thing, right? The creature in this tale is Swamp Thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that green thing. And Marvel has a version called Man Thing.
A
Yeah.
what?
The Marvel has another kind of swamp like monster called Man Thing. You know,
Yeah.
it's a similar creature.
Yeah, we
Man
don't need
thing.
to get into the whole history of Marvel and DC right now. We don't have time for that. It's a long history. Maybe we'll get into it one of these days. But anyway, this is the first appearance of the thing that would eventually become Swamp Thing. It became popular, and they said, "Hey, this is working, so let's keep this going." Uh, and all right, so now I have to close this, and we will go to, I believe, Roots #1, right? Roots of the Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will share that there. Okay, so a little bit after that first appearance of Swamp Thing, and remember that character was Alex Olson.
Yeah.
Alex Olson. So they brought the concept, the idea of Swamp Thing back as an ongoing series, beginning a new kind of graphic assignment, the Saga of the Swamp Thing. But it wasn't the same Swamp Thing. It was a new Swamp Thing. It wasn't
Yeah.
the Alex Olson Swamp Thing. This is a new guy. But it's still Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson. So this guy was Alec Holland,
Yeah.
Vaguely similar name. Alex Olson, Alec Holland, vaguely similar name. But it's a new guy, it's a new character, it's a new story. Yeah, this one is more science based. Alec Holland was a scientist working a biochemist,
Mhm. Both
and
him and his wife worked together, so it's like they kind of like made it um kind of like equal partnership
yeah,
almost, both smart people. Like I like that. I
yeah,
like it. They really kind of elevated also the male and the female characters
sure,
from beginning, and it wasn't damsel in distress.
sure,
Perfectly done. I love it.
sure,
Like I was loving every single page as I was reading it.
sure. Yeah, I think there's a lot of good elements here, and I think you get a good sense of the power of Wrightson's drawing when he was working, when he was
Yeah.
cooking. I mean, it's very moody, it's very evocative, it's playful even, but it gets
It
the job done.
dominates every square. Like he didn't like wherever you look, there's something there. Like you said, playful, right? I think
Right.
playful is the best way to describe it.
Right. It's so animated, and there's energy and there's dynamics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even if you leave it right there, like your eyes constantly jumping from one end to the other.
Yeah. He was something. He certainly was. And you get the cast of characters here, Matt Cable and the two, Alec Holland, who would become this our 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 hero, Swamp Thing. And these very interesting camera angles that
Right,
Wrightson
that's what I
throws at
thought.
you. Yeah. Just the Dutch angles everywhere.
You call them Dutch angles?
Dutch angles in film.
Like but even the faces of the bad guys, like the sleazeballs that come in and they
Yeah.
like first like, hey, you want it for money, and then when they don't, like, all right, we'll bring our fists and bets next time, buddy.
Yeah.
Like look at their faces, it's like almost mask like
It's a
the
bit
bad guy.
panto. It's a bit panto. Yeah. A little bit panto. Uh, yeah, the old serials, and the silent movies. Yeah, very caricatured heroes and villains. Yeah. And so we start our adventures of Swamp Thing with this new, and I'm not sure if they what they were thinking about whether or not they were going to connect this new Swamp Thing with the older one, which they did eventually, but I don't know if they had that in mind to begin with. I really don't know. So Holland is in a bad situation, and
But you gotta appreciate the wonk. Like that one like actually made me laugh. Like if you go a little bit up, like
yeah,
as he smacks him behind, right? Like the head, like the big huge wonk. Like, and I
Wonk.
was like, this is like almost like a little Mickey Mouse
Yeah,
wonk right here.
yeah.
It felt like it was wrong to be there.
Yeah, I don't think there was too much thought given back then about style or uh, um, condign appropriateness. It was just very instinctual, I think, at the time. Writers and
It's
artists
it,
just
it came
yeah,
very organic to them. Like whatever it
yeah.
felt like, they did it. They didn't care like, oh, infringement, is somebody gonna sue us? Like, and it was okay. It looks like it
Actually,
was okay around that time.
actually, you know what I'm thinking right now, looking at this, when you're pointing out the sound effects, lettering, walk, and down here, tick, 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 click, crack.
Yeah.
Okay, when you see all that, you know what I'm thinking,
Mm.
Albina? You know what I'm
What are you
thinking?
talking?
You know what I'm thinking?
But
Will
don't
I?
tell me Batman, because like I'm
No,
thinking like what would David think Batman? No.
You know
So
what
what
I'm
are you thinking?
thinking, Albina?
Donald Duck?
Will Eisner.
Will Eisner.
Will Eisner.
Yeah.
The spirit.
Yeah.
That's coming from Will Eisner. Looks to me. I mean, just the style of the lettering, the
Yeah.
style of how it's presented. That's Wayne and Wrightson doing Will Eisner. Yeah, you got a little bit of the spirit, remember?
Yeah.
But
It's
that's
something.
that's Will Eisner. Yeah, and they know what they're doing when they do that. Those ticking sound effect, tick 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 tick. Yeah, that's Will.
Yeah.
That's Will Eisner.
Kind of like
That's
overlapping, kind of showing you that like crickly tick tick tick, right?
yeah. Well, that's exactly they're aping the style that he used to do
Yeah.
with it, and
But
they're conscious about that.
and like with even with each word like tick tick overlapping, and you kind of think of that like cracking, clicking, but
Yeah.
then crack is like expanding, and you can see more space between the letters, right?
Mhm.
It's so weird when we read, we never pay attention to that, but that suggests motion in our head as well.
Right. 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 Oh, there's some great effects you can do with sound effect lettering. We'll get into some really classic ones as we go. We got a lot to get through.
Mm.
And so Holland gets gets a full face of explosion. And that's pretty horrific actually. And yeah, Wrightson gives you everything he's got for this. And he plunges himself into the swamp. But yeah, so far it's playing out like a classic 1950s EC Comics the horror thriller story.
But it's like so full of conspiracies, even
Sure,
like the man who implanted this listening
sure.
device in the dog because he knew they're soft hearted, they're gonna bring the dog in.
Sure.
And the story like it really follows through, like through every single one, so it's so continuous, even though like he goes from little pieces, like new location, new bad guy,
Yeah.
and he saves the day, let's move on, right?
Hmm.
But this part is like the thread that keeps coming back and keeps it like, and it's so weird because how it ends, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm like,
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, certainly. You can see why Swamp Thing became so popular and to this day is popular. Swamp Thing comics are still published to this day. So
yeah, like we
50
need a
years.
month just to talk about Swamp Thing, in my
50
opinion.
years, 50 years worth of Swamp Thing adventures, and we'll go through a lot of them. So yeah, let's say something here about Len Wein's narration. Rain, some say, cleanses the all too impure earth. Others proclaim it the sorrow of the gods, dreading the tragedy their golden hands have wrought, the tragedy that has long been known as man. So what were you saying about your enjoying the narration, Albina?
Oh, they did, because like think of it this way, like, right, like, so the way you read it, like in my head I actually do dramatic pauses,
Yeah,
like long been known as man,
yeah,
like you gotta add a little bit drama to this.
sure.
Like as I read it, I felt like I'm in this little tiny theater, right? And it smells of popcorn, gum, and maybe some spilled beer because it is an old theater.
Sure.
And like, and
I
there's this narrator, and there's this
Yeah,
like little crickly movie going on.
sure.
I absolutely enjoyed it.
Sure. I think all that narration goes back all the way back to like the radio plays of the 1930s.
Yeah.
Shadow and uh the Spider, all those radio. They had those narrators and they had that kind of pot boiler, overheated, overwrought prose poems narration. uh That's definitely the effect Len Wein was going for, and especially if you read the old early 20th century horror prose writers like Clark Ashton Smith and H.P. Lovecraft, certainly. They all spoke in the kind of overheated, passionate narration,
Yeah.
very poetical.
Well,
Uh,
I'm definitely like starting to find my niche of what I enjoy through this one. So like now, like I was like Clark Ashton Smith. All right, I gotta look him up if he's gonna be doing the
oh,
same stuff
if
as
you
this one.
want to deep dive into all that, yeah, there's plenty to go through. I mean, the stories that were published back in the early 20th century and Weird Tales and Astonishing Stories and those old 1920s pulp magazines. Yeah. But those who dwell in this timeless land care not for idle opinion. They are contented to bask in the teeming torrent until something sudden disturbs their repose, something that claws its way out of the grasping mire and into the light once more. Yeah.
Wow, perfectly done. Like exactly. It's like, how can you not enjoy that? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I like it when it's done well. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, purple prose. Yeah. I like it when it's done well. I do. And there were quite a lot of those mid-century comics writers that really indulged in all this, but Len Wein certainly was one of them. Roy Thomas certainly, but a lot of them did.
But we gotta pause here because
We'll,
this is
we'll
like this is the birth right here, right?
yeah,
So this is the beginning. So just looking at all of this, right? Like a little bit of bubbling, the rain, right? Like rain means like something new, something like like
yeah,
rebirth.
yep,
The earth is cleansing itself, like he said in the beginning. And then like this hand coming out of the water, but it almost feels like it's not really water. It's like breaking a barrier, right?
you sure? Yep. This is it. This is the first appearance of our hero. This is this
And then
Swamp Thing.
as he stands up, there's this like whatever is clinging off of him. It's almost kind of like a birth of a child, right? Like it's
Yep.
slimy. It's like that, like after birth, whatever is hanging off of him. And
Yeah.
they captured that. And I was like, holy crap, their baby is born right here. So
Yep.
we get to see the ooey gooey pictures of the baby being born.
It's visceral. Wrightson gives you what you need for that. You can kind of feel it. I mean, you just see it in the inking work there. Yeah, it's viscous, it's slimy, it's palpable.
Like how he gets up, right? The first
Yeah,
step, but then he collapses back into himself, like with the hands in front of him, elbows tucked in,
yeah,
and the knee going towards his chest. Like you can kind of feel
yeah.
like
You can
the
you
wholeness of the world hits him.
yeah. Well, you can sense the animation, you can sense the movement
Yeah.
in just these drawings. This is the magic of comics. This is good comics when when they're done well. You can get so much movement and energy and emotion in the drawings, and it's certainly here.
Yeah.
The stumbling and the the staggering from side to side of the this figure. It's
Like
all
he
there. It's
knows the
vibrating.
movements, right? He walked as a man. He walked the earth as a man, and like now he's making
Yeah.
his first steps as the Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's confused, he's
Yeah,
disoriented. You're put in the head of the character. What's going on? He doesn't know. He's scared. He's disoriented. And it's there in the line work, the rain, the striking, the striated inking, cross hatching of the rain patterns.
yeah,
It's
like the
vibrating
rain
with
is
energy.
not falling right down. So if you look up above, that's like the start of the rain. Like
Yeah.
right, like you almost get like a vertical like fall, right?
Yeah.
And then like as he goes down, like you can almost feel like how strong it's coming down, that it's coming down at the angle, and
Yeah.
most likely there is some wind too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Even the leap of the frog, there's just so much energy and motion in these drawings. It's magical. Good comics is a magical act. And then here we have, and in that frightening, mind-shattering second, knows what it has become.
There it is,
Yeah.
right?
We get a full face head shot of our hero, the Swamp Thing, this version of the Swamp Thing. A muck-encrusted, shambling mockery of life, a twisted caricature of humanity that can only be called Swamp Thing. Yeah, and it must be said, Len Wein was certainly took a lot of cues from Stan Lee. We're going to do a deep dive into Marvel eventually.
Like here, like the stance where he stands up like that, like it reminds me a little bit of Franken's Dr. Frankenstein's monster,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
with that like overbrow and the nose.
yeah. I'm sure they had Frankenstein in mind here. Yeah, the modern Prometheus. Yes. I'm sure they were thinking that as well. Yeah, I mean it's basically a monster story, but updated for the 20th century.
Mm.
And then must be logical, must gather my thoughts. Explosion should have killed me. It didn't. Why? Why? And he pauses, even when he thinks, he pauses like it's tough for him to speak and think. The formula, biorestorative, on the
It's
table
like
when it blew.
little pieces coming together. Like
Yeah,
he's, like he just remembers little pieces and he's trying to put them in the right sequence of
yeah,
events.
yeah. The lab still stands. All these ellipses means that he's pausing. It takes a while for one thought to get to the next thought, one clause of the sentence to get to the next clause. It takes effort. It's no longer an easy process for him.
The one like I found it very interesting that they decided to give him everything a human gets, right?
Yeah,
So he has everything, like even like the veins and
yeah,
the blood,
yeah,
but the vocal cords do
yeah,
not regrow back.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I don't think it's in this story, but later on they do get into actually how he works. But you
Yeah.
wonder, okay, is all this moss and stuff just on him, or is he composed of moss? And well, they answer that eventually. But you see the veins, you see the roots
Yeah.
covering him.
But like he does regrow it and bullets and stuff
Yeah,
goes through him. So like
yeah,
I don't know, like I'm putting my money on he's a moss.
yeah. That he's basically now entirely 100% composed of plant matter.
Yeah.
He's just a walking plant thing made out of, yeah, vegetable matter. That's what's
Walking
going on.
salad. Come on,
Yep.
say
Walking
it.
salad, sure.
It-
Yeah.
it's gonna be odd eating seaweed salad from now on. I'm gonna keep on thinking, am I eating the moss? Think like, are there any eyeballs in here?
And we get these characters all are very important to follow. I'm not sure where you ended, but Matt Cable here and
Oh
Linda.
yeah, yeah. No, like I finished all of these. These
Oh,
were
okay, great,
like
great.
I the other ones. The approach of writing differs from this one, so I
Well,
didn't have as much joy as I had in these.
all right, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
So, so basically, this is setting up our scenario, setting up our world. First item of business is we have to take care of the immediate problem of what happened to him in this story. I hear you, Matt, but I have no answers to give. Dr. Alec Holland had all the answers. He was an intelligent man, but Alec Holland is dead, and in his place stands only a swamp thing. You can hear the music. You can hear the music
Right,
swell.
like doo-doo.
You can hear the music come up. Yeah. And then we get
This threw
the
me off. The mirror that foresees like distance, like what's happening in the distance, like this threw me off.
yeah.
This was almost like some kind of like fantasy kids kind of like movie, or almost like the Skeletor from He-Man looking.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
I think that goes all the way back to Tolkien, doesn't it? Is scrying or even Shakespeare with the witches
yeah,
in Hamlet. No, not Macbeth, I think.
Macbeth. Yeah,
Macbeth. Yeah, where they're looking in the bubbling cauldron,
yeah,
or even the Wicked Witch, Snow White,
yeah.
looking in the mirror. Yeah, that's an old fantasy trope. Yeah. So so this is now we're beginning the full ongoing adventures of our hero, Swamp Thing. And in this
We
story,
gotta
we're
pause. We gotta
going
pause. No, 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 no. We gotta pause and go back.
all
So,
right
like the dog,
down
the
here.
dog reacts to him like he knows him.
Yeah.
Like, how would the dog know? Because if his matter is completely replaced with a moss.
I'm not sure they thought about that, but who knows?
Yeah, I thought maybe like there is some of the man's DNA and the smell that the dog
Maybe.
recognizes, because like he doesn't look like himself, and
Yeah.
dogs don't recognize faces,
Yeah,
right?
you make up your own explanation for that. Yeah, maybe that was it. Maybe that's it. Or maybe the dog was sensing the aura or the chi
He's
energy.
a good plant.
Make up
The
your own
dog,
explanation for
yeah.
that one. Yeah. They dogs and animals respond to vibes and
Or the dog was just intrigued that this, like, like how they love to pee against the tree, and here's this toilet traveling with him. He can
yeah,
just
might be
sorry,
that. Maybe they just thought, yeah, they don't think of it as a threat. Yeah, it's just plant. All they perceive is a plant, so they don't think of it as a threat. Maybe that's it. Whatever explanation works the best in your mind, I guess.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah. I'm not sure they thought too deeply about any of this. But so this story, now that we've introduced our hero that we're going to be following, now we go on with his adventures, and now we get the introduction to, well, who's going to be the main villain. Who is, Batman has the Joker. Who is Swamp Thing's Joker? Swamp Thing's, who is the Doctor Doom for Swamp Thing?
Yeah,
Who's
I think Doctor Doom kind of fits with this one.
who's Spider-Man's Green Goblin? Now, who's Swamp Thing's main enemy? This is the story that introduces Anton Arcane. This is Swamp Thing's
Arcane.
Joker. Arcane is Swamp Thing's Joker, the main villain. The villain he's always going to be fighting for pretty much the next 50 years is
It's
Arcane.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Like you kind of mentioned all of those kind of arch enemies, right?
Hmm.
And every superhero starts off kind of as friends with them, almost, right? They do have that like interaction where they might not know who each one is,
Hmm.
and the same thing happens here, right? Like he
Yeah,
does get kidnapped and everything, but then like he's listening to this guy, and this guy is almost making sense, like he's trusting him,
yeah,
and he's the only one that gets trusted from the evil guys. He
yeah,
almost succeeds.
yeah. So crazy. We go all the way. We're traveling all the way to the Balkans here.
Yes, I laughed. I was like, oh my God, this is cute. All right, so we're evil scientists in Balkans. But here's another thing, like that I kind of thought. I was like, you know what, this is weird, super weird. Is like, so they have this airplane, right? And watering cars and everything. And then they fly it over here.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're using a cart with wooden wheels.
Yeah, that's right.
I was like, come on, man. You're not that bad.
Yeah, anachronistics, the portrayal of
We give
Eastern
world
Europe.
Tesla. Come on, man. You're a good
Anachronistic portrayals
scientist.
of Eastern Europe are very, very rife in pop culture.
But it could kind of like if you think, right, this mad scientist and his crazy lab in a castle, like
Yeah,
Tesla. Yeah, like that
yeah.
that's what Tesla was.
And here's our first, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was Serbian, right? Yeah.
Croatian, like Serbian, like he was
Serbian.
Yugoslavian. It's
Mm.
just that everybody fights over him. I don't care. He spoke my language, so he's fine.
Right, right, right. No, okay. So here is our first appearance. We see him full face now. Arcane. This is our main villain, the guy we're going to be getting to know quite well over the
And
years.
and how do we know that he's a villain? Look at his fingers. They
Right,
have like pointy, like
right.
nails.
With the pointy nails. Yeah. Telegraph it very well. But everybody, all artists were looking directly at Bernie Wrightson. Like, how did he get these faces? Like, when you look at other artists of the time, they delineated every line of a face. Wrightson is like a jazz musician. The drawing happens between the lines. It's the lines that he doesn't draw that make up it's the negative space that makes up the
We
drawing.
get. It's almost the volume. Like just like let's look at his nose, which is like the
Yeah,
biggest open space there. And
yeah,
like, but you feel it that it's around, that it's bulging, just
yeah,
because there's voidance of these lines.
yeah,
It's popping at you.
yeah, that's
But
right.
but the one thing that kind of like threw me off was like the lines over the mouth, almost kind of like he never talks. Like
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. Like comics artists will draw the lips in, but that's not what Wrightson does. He just draws around the where the lines should be and lets you intuit the drawing. He does the opposite. He gives the ink lines go around where the lines ought to be.
hmm.
And all artists were looking at that and going, how does he do that? Because that's just such a crazy way of approaching rendering figures. But Wrightson did it in a quite a unique and original style. And it's always interesting. It's always interesting. You just look at Wrightson's pages and
All
you
right,
just
no, look at that final drawing, like right on the
yeah.
bottom.
Yeah.
You gotta recognize it.
Right,
What
exactly.
is it?
That's I believe that was Michelangelo, the fresco.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Look at the skies and like
that's
like
right.
the sun rays coming down and they're touching
Just
the
get
finger, like
Sis-
the God touching, right? Like
Sistine Chapel. Yeah, Sistine
yeah.
Chapel. Yeah, that's right. No, I'm pretty sure Wrightson knew what he was doing here. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely right.
It's kind of like the hope, the birth of his hope that
Yeah.
somebody is there, right?
And his choice of what to leave out, like a good jazz musician. He doesn't render anything on the wall. He just leaves it black and blank.
Yeah.
And that's perfect. It's perfect. It's just he knows when to give you a lot of lines and he knows when to draw back. And the contrast is what makes the magic.
Mhm.
Beautiful, beautiful work. Yeah.
Jason, like we're talking, you better come off mute and slow us down.
And this guy is just out of his mind. He's just creating these monstrosities with all these different experiments that he's doing. At this point, Swamp. We can call him either Alec or Swamp Thing, depending on your mood, I guess. Alec, Swamp Thing doesn't know how crazy he is, and there's this. Uh, it's a complete trick. He doesn't understand. He's being manipulated. And it just writes and just gives you so much mood and atmosphere and so much animation. Just lovely work.
But if you think, right, like he's tricking him here to kind of see that he got his body back.
Yeah.
But really, when you think, like, that body was completely damaged by the fire, by the explosion, so there's like
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, Jason, enjoy that us
He
fighting over this.
he's trying to convince himself that this is real. Wishful thinking. He really
Yeah,
wants to believe.
yeah.
He's so desperate to get back to being a human, but yeah, it was all just an illusion. So, yeah, this is a nice sequence right here, this page. He's always
I think they had
changing
good
things
fun
up.
with this one.
Yeah. He's always changing things up so you don't get bored. It's always different layouts and visual interest. Very
Yeah.
nice. Very nice. And so begins a lifelong rivalry between these two characters. Eh,
But you don't
Arc,
know it at this time. You don't know it because, like, at
yeah,
this point, like, Arcane gets punished.
yeah. Arcane versus Swamp Thing. This is gonna be the main thread for the next 50 years. Swamp Thing adventures are still being published to this day. Okay, so there's the first two. So
So the next story kind of broke my heart. I wanted that character to survive, like
open
the
view,
guy that helps him out.
share,
Why didn't he?
and
Are
roots number
are
two.
we 1 hour? Like, right? We have some.
Oh, don't. Yeah, it's all right. I'm not interested in the time. Uh,
Oh, I have two major
okay.
deadlines today.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, we'll talk about it as much as you like. But this, just from the cover, you can see this is going to be an introduction of our very important character. So, yeah, this is the village you were talking about as
Mhm.
he makes his way down from the castle into this quaint Balkan village. And we get the Patchwork Man, who we'll find out what he's all about. Yeah, still the same good work here. And here is Abigail Arcane, who is Anton Arcane's niece, will become a major character. Here she is
Quite
meeting
quite
Matt Cable.
interesting, like how they animated her, kind of like with those dark streaks, right?
Yeah,
It's almost like you associate that with evil, right? Like, you
yeah,
always, like, any lines in the head or in the coloring is almost kind of
yeah, yeah.
stripes of evil, right?
I think that was meant to be ambiguous. You don't quite know at first. You don't know what she's all about. She's Anton Arcane's niece. She's got that shock of just snow white hair with some streaks of black peppered throughout. It's a nice design, actually. It's a very nice
Yeah.
visual, very recognizable. But she becomes very important to us as we go along. And we get the origin of the Patchwork Man.
Yep.
He was a victim, Grigori, victim of Anton Arcane. And you realize what's going on. Yep, he's Grigori is Anton's brother,
Mm-hmm. And he's saving his daughter.
Abigail's father. Yeah, Abigail is his daughter. That's right. That's what's going on. And then Swamp Thing misunderstands what's happening, and they fight. Something that happens a lot in comics. But
And it's kind of frustrating that neither one of them can communicate that they're
right,
on the like both on the same side. But like even like right now, they don't know that they're like on the same side, right?
right,
Like you need a common enemy in order to be allied.
yeah, yeah. These are old genre tropes, certainly, and yeah, they know the tropes they're playing with. And doing well, and we get the meeting with Abigail and Swamp Thing, but now he hands her over to Matt Cable. Yeah, and we got a long path ahead of us. And
Here's a thing about Mr. Gable. Like right, like he's even though like he keeps seeing these like little like parts of that this swamp thing is doing good, but he still hates him. There's this hatred because he's assuming that this thing is responsible for his friend's
yeah,
deaths.
yeah, yeah.
It
Well,
makes
yeah,
you kind
like
of think like yourself, like, okay, how would I react if I see this thing is not violent, like, or somebody is not
sure,
violent towards me, but like if
sure,
they potentially might have done something, would I still be kind of like, I don't care how friendly and how many times you've saved my life, I'm still gonna come after you.
right. Yeah, that's an old trope like we were talking about. It goes back to Frankenstein. The if it's just anything that looks different, looks alien and foreign, is an enemy. It has to be.
Mm. Now you
Yeah,
jumped the gun with the alien.
yeah. Well, I did, didn't I? Well, that's not what I meant, but yeah, okay. So there's a long. This is just the beginning of the earliest adventures of Swamp Thing, and all right, so let's see how far we can get here. Let's go there. Give
We
me
have one
1 minute.
minute left.
We
I
one
really
minute left.
gotta, I
Really
have a
gotta
hard
go.
stop.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Let's see what we can do. All right. All right. Okay. So here's three: A Clockwork Horror and Night Prowler. Uh, yeah. Anything that immediately comes to mind here? Just more Wrightson's beautiful artwork, certainly. And you got I think the strip now is kind of finding its pace, finding its legs, finding what it
Yeah.
wants to be. And they're finding their their balance.
The interesting part is like, right, like we have a starting point. Then he's completely taken like put like in a different geographical location.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the comics, they literally go as he's making his way back to the original position.
Yeah. Yeah. So now he's up against some machines here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one really kind of like threw me off with like he used obituaries to recreate the people.
Right. Right. A lot of times it's just, well, what story are we going to tell this month? And sometimes it's a good idea, and sometimes it's somewhat desperate.
But no, this one I thought it was genius.
Yeah,
Imagine being that good at something
yeah,
and you take such vulnerability of every single person reading this comic. It's a
yeah,
loss of a loved one, right?
right.
And it was almost like a little advertisement to keep publishing your obituaries, right? Keeping the newspapers to publish them because hey, maybe there's a mad scientist who's gonna resurrect your loved one.
Yeah, here's some more Eisner influenced sound effects. I that's totally Eisner, just the style. of the sound.
It's
of
jumping
the
right there out of the square. Like, see how it starts in the back and vibrates big and then
Yeah.
comes right at you.
Yeah. Yeah. Also Mad Comics. All right. So, all right, we got a little bit of the way through. But
Need a month. Like
right.
I hate that you're rushing through it. Like, don't rush through it. This is
Well,
fine
okay.
wine. You don't chug it. You sip it
Right.
very slowly. Enjoy it.
Well, okay, if you want, we'll go slowly as you like. Absolutely.
No, but next
Absolutely.
time. This
Next time.
time I have to step
Sure.
away. Sorry.
Sure.
I'm don't have the luxuries you have
Sure.
yet with
Sure.
retirement. Soon.
Someday.
Yes.
Sure. Well,
someday.
our next Swamp Thing will probably be on the 7th. So let's
Uh,
schedule for that.
That's Thursday, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And I sent you one for Saturday if you're at all interested, or you might be free, you might not be. But I'll let that.
Yeah, I doubt it. Like initially I
Friday?
thought like maybe, but yeah, they just loaded me up with last
Mm.
minute stuff. That's the reason I'm gonna be working throughout the night to
Okay.
complete stuff. Things we do, right?
Okay. Right.
I don't deserve my retirement yet. I have to hustle.
Okay.
All right.
Not a problem.
Thanks, David. This was
Sure, Alvina.
amazing. Thank you again for like being so patient. You gave me the right instructions, like
Yeah.
the right order. That was just
Yeah.
magic. I really enjoyed the first the beginning of the swamp.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll get into the rest of it.
Yeah.
Sure. We'll even go back over some of these and go
Yeah, we can do compare
deep dive.
like yeah.
a deep dive. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Absolutely.
Right.
Count
Jason, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, Jason. Again, we won't be meeting tomorrow, even though I'm not going to delete it from the calendar, but that meeting's been canceled. We will talk about the Donald Duck next Friday. So
I'm glad
if you'd
I'm
like to
not
join
here.
us there. Yeah. It says Hellblazer, but we'll do both on that night. We will do both that night, but we're not meeting tomorrow. Just letting you know.
I'm gonna request, just because you keep on insisting on Donald Duck, I'm gonna punish you with Garfield. I'm gonna make you read freaking Garfield.
Oh my
and
goodness. Oh my goodness.
You're gonna start hating Mondays.
We'll see. We'll see. Okay.
All right.
Okay, Alvina. Well, we will catch up soon.
Yeah, 2 weeks,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Bye, Jason. Bye,
Bye, Alvina.
guys.